Good evening, traders. Today we're going to talk about how to track hidden orders that big banks use to manipulate the market and how you might be able to profit from it. So this is March 29th, all right? This was today. And the morning started off on the ES with this strong drive up and then a pretty strong drive down. Now this whole move from top to bottom is about 25 points. All right, that's not ticks, that's 25 full points. And the question is would you be able to take advantage of that? If you go back on the chart here, there's not an area of obvious resistance, at least in the short term, okay? You've got a top way back here, you've got a top here, and you got a top here, but this one's kind of all on its own for the most part, unless you, maybe you consider these two little guys here. Okay, so that would be your only clue, but you wouldn't know exactly for sure, right? You might have some kind of inkling, but it didn't play around at all. It came up like strong drive up and then strong drive down. So let's see why that might have happened, because I took advantage of this. I did not catch all 25 points here. Okay, I caught maybe 8 to 10 points before I got out, but I did enter very, very near the top. And so let's take a look at what I was looking at on Bookmap, because what I was doing was tracking the big banks. So this is Bookmap, and this is about 8:36 Central. So now 8:36 Central, if we zoom in here on this strong drive, is this little doji guy here, okay, this little red one. That's 8:36. So that's about where we're at on this chart right now. And what you need to look at, this is Bookmap's new iceberg on chart tracker. Okay, this is in beta testing. It has not been released yet. I'm one of the fortunate people that gets to play around with it and see how it works. And I think it is going to blow your mind. We're going to get this playing. And I've got it sped up to 16 times speed at the moment here. But every time these little numbers pop up, that's how many hidden orders were executed in that area. Okay, so you don't get to see them in advance, and this is important right here. You don't get to see these in advance, you get to see them once they're executed, except when they've been triggered but not fully executed. And that is exactly what's happening right here. It says 74. So 75 have triggered, and then it's hard to see at the moment, but there's this blue line that's tracking still, and then you've got this 75 number out here to the side. So now what that's telling us is, okay, we've triggered 75 hidden orders, but there are more to come. So it's letting you know that there are more waiting. Okay, now that's a huge advantage, absolutely huge advantage. And so what you want to see happen here, so then another 75 trigger, and you see this blue line still here with this 150 sitting out here. So more have triggered. You've got this 419 orders in the book waiting right here as well, as acting as a bit of resistance. And you've got hidden orders on top of it that these buyers don't know exist. So they're buying into it, and probably don't know why they can't push price forward. But you can see it there. It triggers again and still in the book. Triggers again. Now we're up to 825. Now we're up to 1,000. Now we're up to 1,300, right? So we've got 1,564 hidden orders just happened there, and it's still in the book, okay? So 1,650 total. Now, this is interesting. They've moved it up. So this big player moved it up. Maybe he was anticipating that the price might bounce up a little bit, and he still wanted to defend, but he's still in the book. He's still there. Okay, and I can't remember exactly where I got in, but I think it's after he moves this down, and you'll see it happen here. Let's speed it up. So this dude is still in the book. He's triggered 1,650 hidden orders so far. More to come. He moves it down. Now he's chasing. So it's not just retail traders that chase price. We've got other icebergs going off here that I don't know if he's part of that or not, but it's not part of this initial massive iceberg that he had hidden earlier. So it's still tracking in the book, and you've got all this liquidity behind it, and then he drops it all the way down here and triggers the rest of his icebergs. You can see 831, 420, 136, plus the 1560 and additional back here. And so you wonder, well, why did price, shoot up and then just come to a sudden halt and shoot back down? Well, it's because all these buyers bought right into an iceberg. They were the Titanic, and they were just plowing along and then wrecked right here on the iceberg. And just like an iceberg, most of those orders were underneath the water. They were hidden, but we are one of the few people on the planet that gets to see this kind of action, okay? Now, someday, probably everybody will be able to see this. They'll catch on. So you probably want to take advantage of this while you can. And then we'll speed this up. You already know the results, but it goes down about 25 points. Now, this is not the only one that happened on the day. So there was a second one that happened later in the day. I took advantage of that one as well. And so I'm going to skip ahead because that happened more towards the end of the day. And you can see the exact same scenario play out. Now, this is not something that's just happening on a daily basis where you can just guarantee you can hop into the market and find one of these things and then follow its lead. Okay, now sometimes they do this kind of thing and they get beat. They're trying to hold the market, and then they get beat and they give up and the market goes on without them. Okay, so this is not like some kind of holy grail guaranteed thing, but man, it is useful information that no one else has available to them. Okay, so let's skip ahead now to the next one. Okay, so the next major iceberg happens here around 12:30 Central. We have a pullback after a pretty lengthy move up through the afternoon. Then we pull back and we have this nice sharp move up right here. And again, I didn't catch all of this. I caught this. I think this is 10 full points. And again, I had 2 contracts on there, 6 and 8 points, somewhere in that neighborhood. I actually thought that it was going to keep going, that we were going to get another one of those like 20-point runs, but we did not. So let's go take a look at Bookmap. So right here, this is a few minutes before it happens, so that you see the pullback happening. And see, this is the big move up through the day. Now we've got the pullback. Let's get this playing here. I'll try to zoom in a little bit for you. Okay. Dial it back. And resume. All right. So we had 129, 295 trigger here. Now it's 560 all of a sudden. You see these guys come in, and this one wasn't as straightforward. So it happened a little fast there because I've got it on 8 times speed. So I'm going to try to zoom in for you a little bit because it's not done yet. So they had the initial trigger here, and then you see this little blue line. I hope you can see that. They held on and it triggered again. And then they kind of got in, and then they triggered again, and then they get back in and they triggered again. So this one is not holding on through one lengthy one. They kind of keep throwing new icebergs at it. Like they're throwing 100 at it, and then that 100 becomes 300. And then they're done, and then they're like, let's throw another 100, that 100 becomes 400, and then they're done, then throw another. So this is kind of what they're doing here. It's almost like a step ladder of stuff. As price kind of keeps going down through them, they keep throwing more at it, trying to halt price and push it back. So it's kind of like a broken up version of what we saw earlier in the day. And now you can see this longer blue line here. We've got 79 sitting here for so far. It triggered 240, trigger. Now you're up to 800, still in the book. Now we're 1169. So we had the kind of the step ladder of them getting in multiple times. Now you've got the big lengthy one, just like we saw earlier. Now price is moving and grooving. And so I got in somewhere in this neighborhood, I think. And like I said, I took a good portion of it, but it's pretty damn hard to get all of everything. But the thing is I was looking for a pullback in that area to begin with. And I don't know if I would have had the conviction to take that in that area. That's the area I was looking for. But once that came in, man, I felt really, really good about it, right? Like that gives you the conviction, like, okay, there's a big player here thinking the same thing that I'm thinking. I'm going to get on his back and hopefully he's right. And hopefully price can push. And it did. I wanted an extra 10 points out of it, but we don't always get what we want. But that's it. I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it basic. What happens is this price eventually comes down and actually takes him out. And then goes down. So like I said, it's not like these are some kind of magical wall that can't be beat, but great information. All right, traders, I'm out.